Purchasing Power Parity, or PPP, is a metric used to compare economic productivity and standards of living between countries by accounting for differences in price levels. It provides a more accurate measure of lifestyle and real income than nominal GDP. PPP reflects the actual cost of goods and services, making it easier to compare living standards. By adjusting for differences in price levels, it provides a more realistic view of what people can afford in different countries. Furthermore, it allows for better comparison of real income and purchasing power across countries. Let's look at the top 20 economies by PPP and their monthly expenses. Starting with China, where in Beijing, rent is $750 and food costs $300. In the United States, Washington, D.C. sees a monthly rent of $2,500 and $400 for food. Moving to India, in New Delhi, the rent is $350 with food expenses at $200. In Japan, Tokyo's monthly expenses include $1,500 for rent and $500 for food. Germany's capital, Berlin, has rent at $1,200 and $400 for food. In Russia, Moscow's rent is $800 and food costs $300. Indonesia's Jakarta has $400 for rent and $200 for food. In Brazil, Brasilia's rent is $700 and food costs $250. The United Kingdom, specifically London, has rent at $2,000 and food at $500. France's Paris sees rent at $1,800 and $450 for food. Mexico City in Mexico has $600 for rent and $250 for food. Italy's Rome has rent at $1,200 and $350 for food. South Korea's Seoul has rent at $1,000 and $350 for food. In Canada, Ottawa's rent is $1,500 and $350 for food. Turkey's Ankara has $400 for rent and $200 for food. Saudi Arabia's Riyadh has rent at $800 and $300 for food. Spain's Madrid sees rent at $1,000 and $300 for food. Australia's Canberra has rent at $1,700 and $400 for food. Iran's Tehran has $300 for rent and $150 for food. Lastly, Egypt's Cairo has $250 for rent and $150 for food. In conclusion, using PPP as a measure allows for a more accurate comparison of living standards across countries. It takes into account the cost of living and price levels, providing a clearer picture of what residents can afford in their daily lives. This method highlights the real value of money and lifestyle differences globally.